We're Miriam and Tanguy, and this is Mighty Van. In 2019 we bought a van. We spent a year self-converting it, with no previous building experience whatsoever. We turned it into a beautiful, cozy home. In this build series, we'll show you how we did it. From woodworking to electrical, we'll show it all. Hoping we can help you, or inspire you, build a home on wheels and live new adventures on the road. I've been in the van for 2 hours figuring out how to mount the solar panels on the roof. So, we already mentioned the other time this mounting channel right here. We now need to find a way to mount solar panels to this. So what we want to do, we have a channel on each side of the van, and we want to put additional rails widthway and screw the panels to these rails. These rails look like this. They have holes, pre-drilled holes in them, so it's going to be easy technically to mount the small brackets that come with the solar panels. You can see I started mounting some of the brackets on the solar panels. So that's all it is, like this. It's pretty solid, so I'm not too worried about this. This all comes with Renogy's solar kit. So you have all the bolts, all the screws, all this, I can't remember, the washers, I think, the mounting hardware, everything's provided. And so it was up to us to figure out how to mount that to the roof. So the challenge I had was that this obviously doesn't fit the channel that we have on top. This doesn't slide into the channel, so we had to go another way. Let me show you. The idea that I had was to try to get something like this. So I couldn't find that for sale on the internet, so I decided to make it myself. What I did was buy these plates. They're, I think, 1.5 inches wide. Go from this long mounting plate, cut it in two because we don't need all the length. Then drill a hole in the middle, or roughly in the middle. The only way you can properly screw is with this kind of bolt. It needs to have the square shape at the base, and so when you do this, it fits. And then when you try to screw in the bolt, the bottom square makes sure that the screw doesn't move. Then you just have to add an additional self-lock washer, and you're all set. You can mount your rail and then your solar panel. So you take everything that we just did, so the plate with a hole in the middle in order to fit this bolt. You open up your channel, so you remove this little cap right here. So you take your plate, you take the screw that you put in the square hole that you drilled, you slide it in your mounting channel here. You make sure first that you're gonna have a hole that's gonna fit right up in your screw, right there. Then you just put your lock washer, your bolts, this, and there it is. A very tight connection between everything. So the great thing about this is, if you ever want to slide your rail just a bit to adjust, maybe, I don't know, the alignment, like for example, see here, this one was already done, but it was too far up front. And so you can see the alignment here. Here I don't have space, and here I do. So it's not exactly straight. And so what I can do is just untie this one, slide it a little bit in the channel until this looks roughly straight. And then I just have to tie this again, and I'm done. I'm really happy about this solution. It's really sturdy. These are the perfect solution because they're pretty rigid. Like you can see, they're a bit flexible, but not that much. But anyway, once the solar panel would be mounted to them, they're gonna be even more solid. So that's good. Yeah, pretty happy about this solution. Can't wait to finish and have the solar panels mounted.
Whoa!
Alright, so it's time. I have drilled holes to run the cables, which looks like this. As you can see Miriam's finger here. So holes for the wires, holes here and here and here for the small, where is it? This one. The small waterproof box. It's gonna come like this. So first I need to run all the wires through the roof. Fun. Forgot a step before running the cables through the holes. Primer. I just need for it to, well, to dry a little bit, otherwise there's gonna be primer all over the cables and no longer in the hole, so just have to wait a bit. There we go, the box is installed, the cables are inside the van, looking good. This is a little loose, but we don't care for now, I'll figure something out later. Box is installed, screwed. Just to be safe, I'm gonna put some more sealant, the same one that we used for the fan, on the screws and all around. And I'm done on the roof. I'm still not very good at putting sealant, as you can tell from this. And from this, it's not pretty, but who cares, right? Whoa.
Hello.
Hello.
What's happening here?
We're cutting the edges of the first bars that we installed for the solar panels because we actually don't need them to stick out that much. So you see here I've cut it on this side, I've done the other side as well on the two bars. So I'm doing this one, then I'm installing the two remaining solar panels, which will have the same sort of layout as these two here. And yes, most importantly, before that, when I'm done cutting, I will apply primer on everything that I've cut, and I think all over the bars to avoid rust, because you can see here there's some rust that is starting to form here as well on the little sides here. Plus everything that I'm cutting is bare metal now and it needs to be protected for rust. There it is. That's Miriam. And that's 400 watts of solar. right there. The cables are a bit messy because I am using two main connectors. So you can see there's the positive and negative here that go directly to the charge controller, and to each one is hooked an adapter that has 1 input and 4 outputs. And it's just that the way the panels are positioned, the 4 outputs are kind of all over the place. As you can see here, there's basically 1 positive, 1 negative here, 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 and here. Right now it's hidden underneath this one and this one, so you can only see part of the wires. This is gonna be wood anyway here, because there's gonna be the deck right there. And I'm thinking maybe do something here, like a wood cover that we can attach to the holes on the side here, and then have all the wires and cables here inside, which will kind of protect them, but would also make it way more nicer to look at. So I'm still chilling on the roof, as you can see maybe. And while I'm up there, just to make sure everything is wired properly, Miriam is doing her first bit of electrical. She's hooking up the solar panels back to the charge controller. And so far so good. So one thing I read is to always unplug everything you're working on, even though there's no potential power in there. I wanted to unplug the solar panels from the charge controller before doing anything on top. So now Miriam's hooking everything back up, and we should have power back in the van. So this is where our patio is going to be, right here. So that's a pretty good area. Sorry.
Oh, me.
Miriam's yelling downstairs because apparently my saw is in the way and she's throwing everything out of the van. Alright, so this is an explanation for you at home and for Miriam as well. Yes. The way our solar is hooked up is we have this charge controller right here. These are the solar panels, positive, negative. These are the ones that Miriam hooked back up when I was upstairs. These are going straight to the batteries, if you follow them here, all the way to the battery. And these two are the load. So the load is actually everything that's running off the electrical. So it's going straight to the fuse box here. And this is our DC appliances, DC fuse box. So the fridge, the lights, etc. By default, this charge controller is set up to disable the load. What you can do when you hook up your electrical is you can have the load not on the charge controller, but on the rest of your system, like hooked up directly to your battery. But we didn't go that way. We chose to go through the charge controller. And so that's why when we hook up the solar panel back to the charge controller, by default, it's disabling the load.
You see the 3 lights up there?
Yeah.
The little bulb
this one
here was getting on and off.
Oh.
And that one was off when I was telling you.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Like that.
Yeah.
When I was telling you it was not working, I was like, that's maybe why.
Yeah.
So I tried to make it be on again, and it worked.
All right, so that's it. We have 400 watts of solar. I don't know if you can hear us through the wind. It's really windy, as you can tell by Miriam's hair. And my... Yo, never mind. We did it! Honestly, the electrical was the most stressful part of our build up to this point. Now that it's mostly done, we can install our ceiling and enjoy the progress we've done under the lights. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.